Buonasera a tutti, io sono Gatsu e eccoci su una nuova serie, Horace, un adventure platform del 2019, indie direi, perché pare che sia fatto da un piccolo team, forse con una singola persona. E niente, mi ha catturato leggendo una recensione che dice che è un gioco pieno di citazioni anni 80-90 su vari platform eccetera. Qualche immagine faceva vedere riferimenti a saghe di Final Fantasy o Sonic o cose così e mi ha incuriosito. I platform sono divertenti, li apprezzo, vediamo di cosa si tratta. Dirò, la musica forse un po' altina. Ok, avevo già aperto una volta il software giusto per vedere i comandi su gioco musicale, però non me li fa cambiare. Speriamo che supporti pienamente il joypad dell'Xbox. Quindi sottotitoli ci sono. Inizia una nuova partita. Let's go. Qua c'è un po' di DOS, le righine tipo Commodore 64, carino. Ci assemblano, parrebbe. Proprio lì? Primo modello. Ok. Pixel grossi 1 centimetro. Forte. Questo sguardo un po' triste. No, vediamo. Vai. Solomon Automation. Anche la musichetta proprio anni 80-90. Pausa siga, non lavoro. Ecco qua. Andiamo nella famiglia che ci ha acquistato. Ok, un po' di tutorial. Con il direzionale anche con l'analogico. Non sa camminare bene. Oh, che carini. Dai, cammina, bimbo.
And so, I was born. The first people I remember seeing were the old man, the old lady, and their daughter, Heather. After they'd said hello, the old man powered me down so he could install some software.
The Last Ninja, no, sono titoli.
I could tell they were nice people. The old man didn't give me a silly voice or stupid personality. And the old lady didn't dress me like a clown. Although for some reason, Heather really didn't like me. Once I'd had time to get used to walking, the old man asked me to dash from one end of the room to the other.
Ok, anche interfaccia Xbox. Rumore di molle. Oh, la Naruto Run fa. Carino.
Next, the old man spent a couple of hours building some wooden platforms. He said he wanted me to jump up them, but I must admit, I was scared. It wasn't until I saw Heather and her mother happily climbing up them that I decided it might be okay.
Vabbè, peserai parecchio di più di una persona normale. Ok, salto. Vedi, il vecchio si è sbattuto, montar tutto. Da quanto ho capito è un gioco che mixerà vari tipi
The old man then rearranged the
gameplay.
platforms. He told me to try to reach the other end of the room without touching the floor. Heather said, the floor's made of lava.
The floor
But when I
is
smiled
lava.
at her, she just frowned and looked away. The old lady arranged some pillows and blankets. She said it was in case I fell, but I think she just wanted it to look more like lava.
Ok. Oh. Salta tanto,
When I reached the other side, the old man just smiled and said, that'll do, for now.
For now. Ah, si diverte, ho comprato il Videogame Adventure Be Wise. Ah, capitolo 1. Primi passi, ok. È più un giocattolo che un maggiordomo robot. Vediamo. Il gioco è dell'anno scorso, quindi ci sono anche un bel po' di citazioni recenti. Carino.
A couple of days after those first lessons, the family had a big meal, and I was introduced to everyone else. The professor was the old man's brother. He was very quiet, and always seemed to just kind of stare at me. He had lived with the old man for 5 years. The house was so huge they barely saw each other. He preferred instead to stay in his room, leaving everything up to his butler, Mr. Deck, as he insisted everyone call him, although the professor always called him Anton. For a while, he called me the yellow bastard, but the old man made him stop, as he thought it sounded racist. Mr. Silton was the old man's driver. Before he worked here, he'd gotten in with some bad people and was the driver in a post office robbery, although it all went wrong for some reason. Mr. Silton showed me a video of his band. I'm sure some people must like it, but I just found it terrifying.
Essere messo il nome sul camion. Smarronato forte.
Then there was Alice. She was the cook. She was a nice old lady. When she was younger, she had been a TV chef. Then, years later, she had a small part in Coronation Street. Mr. Silton said, before she worked for the old man, Alice was quite a hoarder. She kept old newspapers and bicycles. And something about a poo in a shoebox.
Inquietante. Ok. Un
The
bel po' di
next morning,
personaggi.
the old man gathered everyone together to show them what I was capable of. What else does he do? Asked Mr. Silton. The old man smiled. He can help around the house. Could he help me with my newspaper collecting? Asked Alice. I'm not sure that's a good idea, said the old lady, but he can do all sorts of jobs. Yeah, said Mr. Silton, shove a stick up his ass and he can do Deck's job. Now, said the old man, we have company, pointing to some important-looking people. 2 large men, both called Gary, set up what the old man referred to as lasers. He said again, I should try to get from one end of the room to the other, but I shouldn't be worried, as I had a special chip which meant no matter how damaged I was, I couldn't die. He said it was like infinite lives in a video game. But when he realized I didn't understand, he said he would explain another time.
Quando morirò. Ah, Lazarus, fai forte invece che 3 giorni, nasci subito, numero di vite infinite. Forte come cosa. Bam, subito. Ah, ok, non c'è nessuna... Aspetta ad andare volando. Già fatto.
Everybody clapped, except the important-looking men. Not exactly a cold, calculated killer, is it? Said the man in black. The man in grey laughed. What kind of artificial intelligence was that? He asked. Move right, unless there's something in the way. Okay, said the old man. He turned to me and whispered, they're going to make it quite a bit tougher. But I'm sure you'll be fine.
Vai a destra finché non becchi ostacoli. Ah, qua non mi dicono dove devo andare. Io vado a sinistra. Niente. Ah, dai, ci ho passato. No. Ah, fa anche la sgomatina, carino. Dai. Macchinato, salta, sì. Posso passare da sotto? No, ok, ci do una bocciata. Porca miseria, ok, è difficile previsto. Pensavo fosse un gioco piuttosto semplice. Ok, salta come tengo su. Non salta di più, ok. Oh. Segreto? Sotto niente?
The garage then rearranged the room one last time. The old man smiled. Now, there's no need to look so glum, he said. I'm still happy with everything you've done today. So this time, I was determined to do him proud.
Oh, che bel sorrisetto. Urca. Easy.
The old man's friends actually seemed quite happy when I made it through. We might have a winner after all, said the man in black. It's no Killbot 3000, but you can almost see the fire in its eyes.
Poi lì apre il fuoco negli occhi
A
proprio.
couple of days later, the old lady said she had a surprise for me. My own room. She also wanted to play me some music. I wasn't sure after what Mr. Silton had shown me. As if music wasn't amazing enough, the old lady then bought me a television set. I couldn't believe what I saw. I watched everything I could. Comedy, drama, horror, sci-fi. Anything anyone wanted to watch I would happily watch with them. Then one day, the old man set up a small box. He plugged some cables into the television and said, "This is what I meant when I said video games."
Videogames. Gli si è aperto un mondo. Le righe da Commodore
I played games at
64.
every chance I could. I took on everyone. I was unstoppable. I had enjoyed music, film, and television. But to me, video games really were the highest art form.
Ah, ok. A vedere che tipo di giochi. Un po' di Arcanoid. Table Tennis for Two. Ok. Oh, devo giocarci davvero. Che forte. Porca Eva. Analogico, che è scattoso uguale. Dai, non vincerò mai. Ah, grazie. Guarda lì. Boom. Non riesce a dare l'effetto. Forse... Oh, ok. dei rimbalzi in diagonale. No. Cioè, è solo programmato a che dopo 2 o 3 tiri lo manca. No! Cavolo! Non pensavo venisse contro di me, infamata. Non so se il manico della racchetta pesca. Dai. Yes. Bye bye, old man.
Heather's birthday was a couple of months later. Her mum and dad had bought her a camera and arranged a day out by the sea so that Heather could take some photos, although I really don't think she wanted any pictures of me. When the old man asked the professor if he wanted to go, he frowned and said, "I can't believe you want to spend time with that thing. It could destroy the world." I wasn't sure what he meant, but the old man just smiled and said, "That's what you said about the Game Boy." And how about you? "I don't think so," said Mr. Deck. "The last time I got in that car, Barry crashed us into a branch of Woolworths. I never would have gone into Woolworths of my own accord." The old man explained that the car was old and the brakes had failed, but Mr. Deck was having none of it. So Mr. Silton drove, and Alice came along for the fresh air. I enjoyed being outside, although the old lady kept telling me to be careful of the rickety old walkways. It felt like she was telling me off, but I think she was just concerned.
Il cappello del vecchio del colore del mio vestito
As
non
the
la
old
racconta
man and
giusta.
I stood on the cliff tops, I could see something in the distance. I wasn't sure what it was, so I asked the old man. He said it was a battleship that had sunk in the 1940s. But he looked so sad when he spoke about war. I didn't see what happened, but the metal platform Heather was climbing on had collapsed. She was safe, even if the rocks she was on looked very dangerous. The tide was rising, and we didn't know how long the Coast Guard was going to be, so I offered to climb down and get her. The old man agreed, but said I should be careful, as Heather doesn't have infinite lives, like I do.
Oh. Sembra con un game over totale. Se faccio morire la ragazza.
Heather was unconscious, and her leg was broken, so I picked her up as gently as I could. I decided it would be best if I didn't run the rest of the way.
Non è che non posso farlo proprio, ok? Quindi scusa, ma se muoio con la ragazzina qua, game over totale, devo ricominciare da capo? È una cosa interessante provare. Però dai. Ma sì, proviamo. Ah, ricominci da qua. Quindi c'ha le vite infinite anche la ragazza. Spero che il mixing audio sia decente, perché la musica la sento piuttosto forte. Voilà.
An ambulance had arrived by the time I had made it back to the cliff top. The medics made sure Heather was okay, and then took her off to hospital. A few days later, we all went to see how she was doing. She was fine, but would have to wear the cast for a couple of months.
Conquistato anche la bimba. Gliel'hanno detto che l'ho salvata io. Robot save local girl. Herobot. Ah, gli faccio driftare la sedia a rotelle. Ma non proprio i cattivi della stazione.
Once Heather got to know me. We became good friends. We enjoyed the same films and TV. She was also annoyingly good at some of my favorite games. After a while, she became very interested in how I worked. Soon she knew as much about me as the old man did, if not more.
Attenzione.
We spent the next couple of months visiting other countries, as when it came to teaching me things, the old man always liked to pick interesting locations. He had explained the basics of mathematics to me at the Great Pyramid of Egypt.
Addirittura.
Taught me history in the dead of night, surrounded by mysterious giant stones. And even showed me science in action high up in a hot air balloon.
Sbattone.
This is why I was surprised when the old man took me to a restaurant. It was nice, but it seemed very somber compared to the previous grand locations. He said he just wanted to chat, and this was nice and quiet. Plus it was his favorite place to eat. We talked about life, the universe, Douglas Adams, everything really.
Chi è Douglas Adam? Non ho
When I
idea.
asked him why were we here, why did we exist, he just smiled and said, life is like a game, just don't expect to be finished anytime soon. When I looked puzzled, he said, well, everyone should have a purpose. So I asked him, what's my purpose? He thought for a bit, then said, so you want to be a real boy? Which just confused me even more. Eventually the old man said, for now, I want you to help clean things around the house. I must have looked unimpressed, as he then said, okay, I want you to clean 1,000,000 things. It
Minchia.
didn't sound like the meaning of life, but I suppose you've got to start somewhere.
Un po' alla Pinocchio, voglio diventare un bambino vero. Lo scopo della vita. A man can't have everything. Where would he put in?
The next day, the old man said he wanted to install some more software, so he powered me down. When I came to, he said Mr. Silton had a joke for me, and that I should pull his finger. I don't think I got the joke. So the old man powered me down again. This time when I pulled Mr. Silton's finger, I got the joke. But it wasn't very funny. The old man then explained that he had installed a special chip which allowed me to clean away anything that was broken. He said it also tells me how many things are nearby, and how many smaller things are in a bigger thing. It all sounded very complicated, but he said all I really had to do was pause, and it would bring up all the information I needed. He then said he wanted me to find and clean all of the items in the room. He told me there would be some chains to climb, but that would be nice and easy, as I just had to press up. He
Addirittura.
then finished by saying, when I had collected all the items, I should come back here.
Ah, c'è anche scritto di usare... Oh, sono queste le cose. Rifiuti. Ok. Me li prende tutti? Ma commenti sempre di più. Combo di rifiuti. Appena devo schiacciare start. Ah, eccolo qua. Tutti presenti e tutti posseduti. Ok. Risoluzione a 0,5. Lo scopo della mia esistenza. Ok. Cos'è? Al centro allenamento pulizia. Ok. Cavolo, un po' inchiodato. Va bene, anche troppo. Ah, io inchiodato. C'è un dondolamento? Sì, c'è un dondolamento. Cavolo! Che ben animato, con una bella fisica. Vabbè, niente. E devo aprire questi. Perché? Cercano di prendere subito, non ho capito, onestamente. Ah, ci devo stare un po'. Ok, ora ho capito. Quanto siamo? 1540. Ancora 10. Non era qualcosa che avevo mancato all'inizio. Forse è qua. Sì, tipo quello. Ok. Puff. 8 7 e 5. Ok, valgono tutti 1. Ok. Questi sono gli ultimi. Ah, questo bidonazzo. E vai. Naruto Run.
The old man then asked the old lady Heather and I to follow him outside. I was happy too, as it was a lovely hot day. The old man said he was worried that Alice had been hoarding again. She had filled up a small barn with old bicycles and newspapers. Heather said, this would be a perfect chance to properly test my new powers. The old man thought for a second, then said, using the steptoe chip, I should find and clean at least 300 things. When we explained to Alice what we wanted to do, she seemed scared. But after the old lady kindly explained that, well, the barn was starting to smell, she said it would be okay. One last thing, said the old man. If you want to use a door, just push up. When I was about to enter the old barn, Mr. Silton said he had seen some mushrooms growing inside. He asked me to give him any that I found. He then winked, but I wasn't sure why.
Signor Stilton. Ah, che musica. Ok, l'acqua mi uccide. Bere riso addirittura. Porca miseria, quanta roba. Porca miseria. Oh. Starci sopra. Ci spacchiamo i funghetti, signor Silton. I funghetti fanno un suono diverso, forse super mariesco, forse. Quanti ne mancano? Ah, qua niente. Uffi. Scarso proprio. Vabbè, c'ho il sistema Lazzaro, cosa me ne frega. 137. Vuol dire che quindi qua non ci sono altre porte. Devo sbattermi a ritrovare l'uscita? Vabbè, che è questa.
The old man was very happy with everything that I had cleaned. But I think Mr. Silton was even more happy with his mushrooms.
Che sguardo birichino, signor Silton.
It wasn't the days getting shorter, or the evenings getting colder. It was the falling leaves that really made me feel sad. As we watched the trees blowing in the breeze, the old lady said, "The leaves must fall before the blossom comes." She had already explained the seasons to me, so for once, I actually understood. But it didn't make me feel any better. The old lady obviously had enough of my moping, and said, "Right, next week we're going to have a party." For some reason she insisted that we were all going to wear costumes. Heather was very excited and said, "I've got some perfect ideas."
Cos'è, lo squalo? Incredibile. Halloween. Però profondo rosso, non lo squalo, non saprai. Non sono così. Profondo rosso forse. Ah, che carini.
It was terrifying. Everyone was dressed like someone else. I think I was meant to be some kind of pumpkin, as everyone kept shouting, "It's the great pumpkin." Still, at least Mr. Silton was having fun telling everyone his joke. And I suppose Heather's costume was quite flattering.
Sei vestita da me, che carina.
After what seemed like forever, everybody left, and things got back to normal. Heather was allowed to watch a scary film before she went to bed, but I had to help Alice and Mr. Deck clean up.
Coming to get you, Barbara.
I wasn't happy about this, but the old man said if I was quick, then I could watch the end of the film with them. Alice was vacuuming, and Mr. Deck was taking down the decorations. So I thought I should clean up the plates and glasses.
Bello, è tutto molto motivate le cose. È una storia.
The ear-splitting sound was the fire alarm. As usual, Mr. Deck blamed Mr. Silton, saying he was probably smoking one of his jazz cigarettes.
Jazz cigarette.
But then the professor appeared. He said that there was something burning in the kitchen. Alice looked confused, saying that she hadn't cooked anything since the morning. We were all surprised when Mr. Deck opened the oven. Inside was a large black cloak and a slightly burnt pair of men's underwear.
What?
Suddenly the old lady burst in. She looked terrified. She kept shouting, "There's someone on the roof." When we went outside, it slowly became obvious that it was Mr. Silton. He was completely naked and playing his guitar. He shouted down, "When I finish this song, I'm going to fly."
I'm going
The
to
old
fly.
lady said, "Oh my God, I know this one. There's only about 30 seconds left."
A
The old
tempo.
man then quickly turned to me and said, "You know what to do."
Guarda che musichetta. Non è di qua? Ho fumato troppe sigarette speciali, sto qua. Due musichetta, mi piace il rock. Figata.
By the time I had made it up to the roof, Mr. Silton was beside the edge. I tried to calm him down, but he was acting even more bizarre than usual.
More bizarre. Se ne hai fumati i funghetti. Madonna, è fattissimo. Says local idiot. Are you thinking too much?
After an hour or so, Mr. Silton was fine. He said he had eaten some bad magic mushrooms. Part of me wondered why he hadn't doubled in size. Still, he was soon laughing and joking with the
paramedics. Più grande.
One of them said he looked like the world's worst clown. I don't think Mr. Silton liked that. So he told his own joke. But that just made the other paramedic call him Marshmallow Marso. I don't think he liked that either. But at least he was still in one piece.
Mi chiesi perché non fosse diventato grande il doppio. Che forte. Oh! Final Fantasy, cos'è?
A month or so later, Heather and I were playing video
Last
games.
Adventure.
When the old man said he wanted me to come outside. He said it had been a year since I had arrived, so he had a present for me.
Oh, wow.
He placed the teddy bear high up on a wooden platform. He then told me I should try to pick it up.
Peccato perché la citazione a Final Fantasy è volata un attimino. Last adesso non mi ricordo come si chiama. Forte. Pensavo fosse un minigame a sto punto. Come la prendo, scusa?
Try as I might, I couldn't reach the teddy bear. However, I still don't understand what happened next.
No. Un po' aspettato per il discorso del cappello, però così... Impazzisce. No. E ci sarà anche qualcuno che rischia di dargli la colpa. Pinocchio. Fa sempre con la solita battuta, prova. È rimasto frizzato lì praticamente. Inizia ad acchiappare sulle biciclette. È un momento un po' triste. Cosa fanno? Mi danno un ceffone? Oh, iniziano a empatizzare un pochino forse. Oh, neanche il cappello in testa? Neanche quello è bastato. E chissà la password qual era. A martello? No, dai martellata. Prova con una martellata più forte, giustamente. Ho contro alt e canc, non so formattarlo. Ti provi lei col martello. Boom! Ecco, la terza ha funzionato. robottino. Ora l'hanno spento come si deve. Ah, lo chiudono così. Cos'è tutta sta pazzia musicale? Che belle animazioni! Che viaggio si sta facendo? Addirittura blasfemo. Wow. Ah, Outrun. Non era Kid Icarus. Trip.
Was I dead? Was this heaven? It sort of looked like the basement bathroom.
Ok.
It was the shoes the old man was going to give me. I thought I might as well put them on. They were just the right size. The old man's hat fit me pretty good as well. I'm sure he wouldn't mind if I wore it. Amazingly, the shoes allowed me to defy gravity. Or maybe it was the hat.
Wow. Che roba. Ok, la cravatta ti fa capire il lato. Figo. Cioè, carina la cosa. Un po' confusionario che ti gira la testa così. Che gira lo schermo così, però figa l'idea che la cravatta ti fa capire qual è il lato giusto, perché sennò dopo un po'. Ok. Wow, sto apre tutta una nuova. Niente, è bello da tutti i punti di vista. Quinta rete, un mondo in frantumi. Ok. Ma adesso non so. Oh, cavolo, questo ti fa venire mal di testa però, eh. Oh cielo. Ok, direi che per questo primo episodio lasciamo qua. Non so bene i punti in cui il gioco viene salvato. Immagino che all'inizio di ogni capitolo sicuramente ci sarà un salvataggio. Per cui ci salutiamo. Il gioco è interessante, sicuramente lo porterò a termine, perché comunque c'è una storia, voglio vedere dove va a parare. E quindi buona serata a tutti e alla prossima. Torniamo ai titoli. Ah, sotto ci sono i potenziamenti, wow. Tutti i rifiuti che ho preso. Capitolo 3. Essendomi svegliato in un luogo sconosciuto, cercai di uscire all'esterno per trovare la persona che conoscevo e amavo. Ah, c'è il luogo in cui siamo. Ok, start da riutilizzare un po' di più. Sacco di potenziamenti sotto. Fantastico. Perfetto. Alla prossima allora. Ciao a tutti.